Most people don't leave bad jobs. They just slowly become a different, quieter, smaller version of themselves inside one. My name is Greg, and for over a decade, I've lived inside the corporate and finance world. Not read about it, not theorized about it. Lived it. The boardrooms, the budget meetings, the performance reviews that go nowhere, the promotions that somehow always go to someone else. I've seen it all. And after 10+ years of watching how companies really work behind the polished job listings and the "we're like a family here" onboarding speeches, I can tell you this with confidence. Most people don't lose in their careers because they're not talented enough. They lose because nobody taught them what to actually look for. So today, that changes. We're talking about corporate red flags, the real ones, and more importantly, when to stay at a job that's draining you and when to finally walk away. Here's what nobody tells you when you first start working. Every company has a personality, just like people do. Some companies are honest, fair, and they actually invest in you. And some are experts at making you feel like the problem when they are the problem. The bad ones don't announce themselves. They give you a decent salary, a title that sounds important, a welcome lunch. And then slowly, the cracks start to show. Let me tell you about someone. His name is Michael. Michael was 29, smart, hardworking. He got a job at a mid-sized marketing firm. The interview went well. The manager seemed energetic. The office looked great. First month, everything felt fine. But around month 3, Michael started noticing things. His manager would take credit for his ideas in meetings. When he asked about a promotion, he was told, "The timing isn't right." When he raised a concern, he'd get a response that somehow made him feel like he was being difficult. And whenever he looked around the office, the people who had been there the longest looked the most tired. Not experienced, not seasoned, just tired. Michael told himself, every job has problems. I should be grateful. So he stayed. 3 years later, he was still hearing, "The timing isn't right." 3 years later, he woke up one morning, and the reality hit him. He had spent 3 years getting really good at tolerating a bad situation. Not growing, not building, not moving forward, just tolerating. That's what a bad corporate environment does to you. It doesn't fire you. It slowly convinces you that this is just what work feels like. So let's talk about the actual red flags. The first one, leadership that never takes accountability. Pay close attention to what happens when something goes wrong at your company. Does management figure out what broke and fix it? Or does someone get blamed? The way a leader handles failure tells you everything about how they'll handle your future. If your boss can't admit they were wrong in a small meeting, they're not going to fight for you when it really matters. The second red flag, the goalposts keep moving. You were told you'd get a raise after your 6-month review. 6 months pass. Let's revisit this at year-end. Year-end comes. We had a tough quarter. You hit the targets. Now the target's changed. This is not accidental. They keep the carrot just close enough that you don't stop running, but far enough that you never actually reach it. If you've heard more "not yet" than "yes" in the last 12 months, take note. Third red flag, high turnover that no one talks about. When people keep leaving a company and nobody asks why, that's a problem. Healthy companies care when someone leaves. They reflect. They ask what they could do better. Toxic companies either replace people quickly and move on, or worse, they talk badly about the people who left. She wasn't a team player. He had an attitude problem. Listen to how leadership talks about people who leave, because one day, that might be how they talk about you. Fourth red flag. Your mental health is declining, and you keep explaining it away. I'm just stressed. It's a busy season. I'm not sleeping well, but that's just life. Here's a question worth sitting with. Are you the same person you were 2 years ago? Do you still have your energy, your curiosity, your confidence? Or have you slowly become someone who dreads Sunday evenings, who flinches when their manager's name appears on their phone? Your body keeps score, even when your mind makes excuses. Don't ignore that. Fifth red flag. Your growth has completely stalled. There's a difference between a comfortable job and a growing one. If you've been doing the exact same thing for 2 or 3 years with no new skills, no new responsibilities, you're not just standing still. You're falling behind. The world outside your office is moving fast, and if your current company isn't helping you grow, they're quietly helping you become less valuable everywhere else. Now here's where I want to be fair. Not every difficult company is worth leaving immediately. Sometimes staying is the smart move. If the problem is one bad manager, but the company itself is solid, outlast them or transfer teams. If you're early in your career and still gaining real skills and real experience, that might be worth enduring for a defined period. 1 year, 2 years, with an exit plan. If you have no savings and no safety net, quitting without a plan just trades one stress for a worse one. The question is never just, is this job bad? The question is, what am I gaining by staying, and what am I losing? If what you're gaining still outweighs what you're losing, stay strategically. But if your health, your confidence, your time, and your sense of self are starting to cost more than anything they're paying you, that's when it's time to have a very serious conversation with yourself. Let me tell you about Grace. She worked at a financial services company for 4 years. Tough culture, long hours, a manager who ran hot and cold. But Grace didn't just suffer in silence, and she didn't just quit. She made a quiet plan. She got certified in a new area of her field. She built relationships at other companies quietly, professionally, without burning bridges. She saved 3 months of expenses so she could move without panic. And when the right offer came, and it came because she'd been planting seeds, she left. Not in anger, not dramatically. She left calm, prepared, on her own terms. On her last day, her manager said, "I'm shocked you're leaving. I thought you were happy here." Grace smiled politely, because she had realized something important. It was never her job to make her unhappiness obvious. It was her job to make her exit inevitable. Here's the deeper truth. Most people leave a job either too early or too late. Too early when they're frustrated, but still have room to grow. Too late when they've already given years to something that was never going to reward them. The skill is learning to read the environment clearly, not emotionally, not reactively, clearly. Bad companies keep good people through 2 things. Fear. What if the next place is worse? Comfort. At least I know this place. Both feel like reasons. But they're not reasons. They're anchors. And anchors don't move you forward. So here's what you actually do. Answer 3 questions honestly. First, what am I actually learning here right now? Second, where will I be in 2 years if nothing changes? Third, what would I need to see in the next 6 months to believe this place is worth staying? If you can't answer the first with something real, if the second fills you with dread, if the third feels impossible to imagine, then you have your answer. You don't have to quit tomorrow, but start moving. Update your resume this weekend. Have one coffee with one person in your network this month. Learn one new skill on the side. Just start building the bridge before you need to cross it. Because the worst position you can be in is wanting to leave, while having nowhere else to go. Don't let desperation force your next move. Let preparation power it. A mentor of mine once told me something I've never forgotten. He said, "A bad job doesn't just cost you time. It costs you the version of yourself you could have become. It's not just about the salary you didn't earn. It's about the confidence you slowly lost, the ideas you stopped sharing because nobody listened, the ambition you quietly tucked away. That's the real cost, and you can't get those years back. But you can decide right now, today, to be honest with yourself about where you are. Not defensive, not dismissive. Honest. Because the people who build real careers and real financial freedom, they're not the ones who hustled harder at companies that didn't deserve them. They're the ones who had the clarity to know when to commit and the courage to know when to move. If this gave you something to think about, like, share, and subscribe. Drop a comment below and tell me, what's the biggest red flag you've ever seen at a job? I'm Greg. This is Greg Thinks Rich, and I'll see you in the next one.